Now I do believe that these pieces, 12, 13, 38, and 39, are different enough that I might be able to, or I should be able to tell which is supposed to go where. In other words, not get them mixed up. But on the other hand, I've got a lot of these little tuna fish tins, so why not use it? Okay, here's number 12. $13. $39. And 38. I'll just make sure I don't get them mixed up and I don't need to worry about it. And I think we may as well take off the rudder as long as we're at it, because we are going to be needing it shortly. In other words, I won't be gluing it in place, but I will be wanting to paint it the same color as the hull, the bottom, the hull red, that is. Okay, so we got that. I think that's all we need off the A sprue for a while.
Now, a little bit of news regarding that see-through turret that Tony's putting together. Yeah, got an update last night. Now you know what I know.
Got a little bit of filing to do there. Now, this one here, I don't want to do that, right? Okay. The flashing where the seam isn't very noticeable. I'll do that after I get these filed down. Now, where's my file here? I'm not pressing very hard. Oh, don't want to scratch off the rivets. Okay, now as long as we're talking about nippers here, remember about, oh man, we're way back at the beginning of the build for the Bismarck, so we're going back about a year and a half. I made these out of an old pair of side cutters that used to belong to my grandfather, and what I did was I removed quite a bit of metal here, and to make them, nice and thin, as you can see there. Now the hinge part of this is pretty badly worn, and I'm noticing that when you squeeze down on them, they kind of sort of slip over to one side more than the other. I I know what I'm talking about, but maybe you can't see it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and squeeze it together, and then when it slips over to the side that it likes the best, I'm going to fasten it that way. Idea being is so that when I grind it down, it's going to be flush in that direction that it's going to want to go anyway, if you know what I mean. That didn't make sense, did it? Anyway, let's see what happens here. Okay, I think I pretty well got it about as thin this way, you know, as I want to get it. I'm thinking maybe if I just very, very lightly, you know, go along this side right here. Don't want to go in too much because then I'll be, you know, on the edges that actually come together, and then once I remove them, then this thing isn't going to work at all. But I think if I just very, very lightly go here, I can make it so that it will cut even closer to whatever it is that you're trying to cut off. I'm probably going to end up having to get a proper pair of model nippers. They're kind of expensive, but I was kind of hoping to save the money, but this will work, but it won't be what you would call precise. It's definitely not going to work on photo etch. I know that right away, but it should work on nipping pieces off of the sprue. And the reason I did that was so that when I was nipping where I didn't need to do really delicate work, like right here, I would use these. I have recently got into the bad habit of not bothering to use these because these ones here work so much better. But I do realize that the more I use them, the more they're going to dull. And the reason for that, I concluded the first day I got these, when I was looking at them really close, I think I even looked at them under the microscope, and I had concluded that what these things do is there are two very, very sharp edges that come together, and they come together flush right here, as you can see. That's why these things work so good for, you know, getting up really close to something. But they are extremely sharp. But because they are so sharp, they will also, under pressure, deform. And every time you snap them together, they probably, microscopically, to the nano atom, they probably just slightly dull, and they just get more and more and more dull. So the more you use them, the duller they're going to get. Naturally, it just stands to reason. I imagine there might also be a little bit of wear in here in the hinge, so that they lose their, that they don't come together quite as even as they normally could. Now, this is just my opinion. I'm not a scientist or anything like that. But these are really good still, even though I have maybe been using them where I shouldn't. Just thought I'd mention that yes, I do know I should be using these ones here when I want to nip something that's a little bit on the heavy-duty side. And I'm going to try from now on to remember to do that. A couple of viewers drew that to my attention in yesterday's video. So, yeah. Okay, I've spent about 10 minutes on it, I guess. And you can see where where the sprue connected, but you cannot feel it. I do believe that once I've painted that, it won't be seen. But you got to also remember this is the bottom of the rudder. Nobody's going to see it. Somebody might see the top edge here or the top edge here, because I do plan on having the rudder set slightly to port, and we'll talk about that when I do it. I think we pretty much got it here. Maybe there's a little bit in there I could have done something with, although I do believe this is hidden by part of the ship. Yeah, a little bit there. Where's my knife? Okay. I thought I had sanded in there, but I guess, well, there is only so much that I'm willing to do here, folks. And that sort of brings up another issue, and that is these Pontos add-on kits. Why do I not get one of these wonderful kits that has the wooden deck and all the extra photo etch and so on? Well, I do believe that on this particular model, to really do the Pontos add-on kit properly, a person would have to do an awful lot of skilled work, delicate work. And I've mentioned this before, that I do not have the dexterity in my fingers that I used to have. Not to be complaining and not to be always talking about it, but I know that those Pontos add-on kits are wonderful things in the hands of a skilled modeler. And those are not my hands. I'm just having fun here. Yeah. We now have all the little pieces necessary for steps 3 and 4, except for the propellers themselves. And I could be wrong, but it could be that we're not going to be needing the plastic propellers. Anyway, I want to use a propeller shaft here when I mount these brackets on, just to make sure that I've got everything straight. I'll put the macro lens on. We'll take a close look here. Okay, I'm noticing that there's a little bit of flashing here. But you know what? This is going to be stuck inside the hull anyway. Nobody's going to see it. And I can see that I've got some scratches from the sanding stick. But for the most part, I think we didn't do too bad. I think once it's painted, it's going to look okay. The other three are much the same. So if you've seen one, you've seen them all. Now, I'm not trying to give out any tips here. What I'm doing is I'm just telling you what works best for me. And that is, I find that if I have the model at the same orientation as the manual, there's less chance of getting parts mixed up, especially when you're dealing with parts that look alike. Okay, let's, for the fun of it, just do a dry run here. We'll do the part that goes in here, and the shaft, and the part, I guess, would be here. So we need a number 18. Okay, here's an 18. And this one here, it looks like it is, follow the arrows, it is a 38. Okay, there's a 38. Actually, there's only one 38. Now remember, this is just a dry run. Okay, that's kind of how it's going to go. Yeah, I think, did I get that right? That doesn't look right. You know what? I've got this the wrong way around. We'll get it. There, that looks better. Yeah. I think it'd probably be safe to just take a little extra thin and let it do its thing. It lines up really good. I think that's lots. Just put a little bit of pressure on there. Okay, I do believe that should be good. I don't want to put too much pressure on, or the sprue goo is going to come out of the joint, if you know what I mean. Wonder if maybe I should have had this turned about a quarter of a turn so that this little place there where the sprue was attached would be sort of hidden. Oh, that'll cover. Now it should wick its way in there. Don't know if you can see it or not, but just right there under my finger, it's starting to sort of like form sprue goo. So when this solidifies, it'll be very strong. At least that's my experience with this stuff. Okay, I think we can just leave it now. Almost an hour has passed here now, and I'm wondering, it looks like it's still... Oh no. A little bit soft, but push hard. Well, then don't push hard. Okay. Oh, and that's still loose. I didn't glue it in here. Okay. Wonder how many times I say okay in these videos. Anyway, okay. So, it's only about 25 to 2 in the afternoon. Maybe we can do this one. Okay, we need number 17. And we need number 12. Okay, this time I've got it the right way around. Oh my. Okay. There we go. That is a nice fit. Okay. Let's make sure it's seated in there right. Yeah. Sorry if I'm getting my hands in the way. Whoops. Okay, that should be just about right. Reaching around the camera here. I want to be able to put pressure on there. Oh, I was going to turn it, wasn't I? Let's see if I can. Don't know if I can turn it now. That's too bad. Well, the paint will cover that. I'm kind of, maybe you can't see it, but I'm kind of wiggling it there so that the sprue glue sort of smooshes itself around inside the joint. Okay, I do believe that's going to probably be okay if I stop putting pressure on it. And we're still loose here. The shaft is bent a little bit. I guess the propeller's going to have vibration now. Okay, let's let the glue do its thing. In the meantime, thanks for watching. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.